I really wanted to make the switch from a down to a synthetic jacket, so I really can't wait to show you my brand new Patagonia MicroPuff hoodie. Let's go. Hello fellow hiker and world traveller, Russ here, bringing you the best tips and inspiration for hiking around the world. In this video I'm going to be going over all of the specs and the features, as well as the things that I liked and the things that I didn't like so much, but first let's talk about the pricing. I got an email in my inbox the other day saying that I could have 50 quid off from Patagonia direct for any of their items on their website, and I just was really crying out to get this jacket. Couldn't wait to try it out, so I just went for it. It was 200 quid after the 50 quid was taken off. So yeah, this jacket does have a hefty price tag, but compared to my £40 Trespass one, which is made out of down, this is lighter and it's better in moist and damp conditions. For some weird reason, I can't find the exact weight on any website out there of this jacket, but it definitely weighs less than my tent, which is 400 grams, so I'm kind of guessing that this jacket is about 350 grams. It's super lightweight, it's very thin, but for its size and its thickness, it's actually very warm. Patagonia claims that this jacket has a warmth to weight ratio that is better than any other synthetic jacket that they've ever produced. It's made out of some very revolutionary materials, so they say, and I'm going to go over those now in the specs. Basically on the inside, instead of a down filling, which is what I'm used to, this is a synthetic jacket with a material inside which is called Plumafil. Plumafil is a synthetic material that has been designed to look exactly like down, feel exactly like down, and give a very similar warmth to weight ratio as down as well. So that's why this jacket is a very revolutionary jacket, just because instead of having loads of feathers which aren't very good in moist conditions, you're actually having a synthetic material which is going to give you a very similar effect to down. On the outside, it's made out of a ripstop Pertex Quantum shell. They claim that it's actually got a waterproof repellent on it, but I've had this out in some very light drizzle. This jacket is definitely not waterproof at all, so I highly recommend that you have a waterproof shell on top of this if you're going to use it as an active layer. I'm 5'7" with an 18-inch torso, and I got this in a medium and it fits me spot on. It's the best fitting jacket that I've ever bought for thermal uses. Let's go further into the materials. The shell lining is made out of a 0.7 ounce 10 denier nylon ripstop Pertex Quantum. That was a mouthful, but basically this is a very light, very thin, very soft material, very comfortable to wear. I wouldn't be too fooled though about how thin this is. I mean, if you scratched it up against some thorns or something, I really hope you don't get a puncture. I've been a little bit paranoid about it because it is so thin, but these things are built to last. It is Patagonia after all. The insulation is a 65 gram Plumafil 100% polyester filling, so it's going to really wick off some moisture if this thing gets damp. The fabric is certified as Blue Sign approved, and it is fair trade zone certified as well. That's one of the good things about Patagonia, is all of their stuff is very well made and it's ethically sourced as well. Now we've gone over the specs, let's go over some of the features. This jacket has a zipper that goes all the way from your waist to the bottom of your chin. It's got two zippy pockets on the front. The hood is absolutely fantastic. It goes right the way around your head, and when you've done it up, it really encases your entire skull in the thing. It's really comfortable, really warm, and it keeps the wind off all your neck and around your chin. It's a really good hood and very comfortable. It's got elasticated cuffs on both of the arms, as well as an elasticated cuff around the waist. There aren't any line lock adjusters on this thing, so it would have been a little bit handy to have one on the waist just to really cinch them in, but it actually fits me quite well and I haven't really noticed it being too much of a problem anyway. It's got two pockets on the inside which are very deep and very handy. You can put loads of stuff in this jacket to keep it to hand, as well as using the pockets to keep your hands nice and toasty. The lining on the inside is made out of the exact same material as the shell material on the outside. The left front pocket has a dual zipper on it so that you can use this as a stuff sack, but the way that I pack my bag is I just ram this thing into my pack and just kind of shove it all around the other stuff, taking up the negative space. So I'm very unlikely to be using that as a stuff pocket anyway. Cool, so now that we've gone over the specs, the pricing, and some of the features, let's go over the things that I really love about the Patagonia MicroPuff jacket. I've been wearing this out and about in Snowdonia for a few times. I haven't put loads of miles on it, but it's been out with me in some pretty horrendous conditions. I haven't used this really as an active layer, but basically because the air is wet and there's loads of moisture in the atmosphere up in these places that I've been going, it really does keep its loft. I mean, for a synthetic jacket with a very similar material to down that has a very similar warmth to weight ratio to down, this thing has actually been a very good jacket indeed. If I compare it to my £40 Trespass down puffy jacket, it's basically whenever I take that thing out and I'm wearing it, even if I'm just sat at camp and it's slightly moist, all of that down just soaks up all of the moisture and its loft just completely disappears. disappears, and it's nowhere near as warm as it was when it was dry. This jacket, on the other hand, as I'm wearing it, it doesn't seem to lose its loft. It's perfect for using at camp. You can even use this as a bit more of an active layer. If you've got a waterproof breathable shell on top of you, it'll be absolutely fine. I don't advise using it as an active layer all the time, but it's there as an option because you just know, because it's synthetic, it's going to wick off all of that moisture and it's going to keep you as warm as it was when you had it when it was dry. There is a bit of a myth with synthetic materials, and that is basically when this stuff gets wet, which basically if it gets rained on and your entire torso is soaked right the way through, it's not going to keep you warm. It's just about moisture in the air and how much moisture this thing wicks off and doesn't soak up. So yes, it's better in damp conditions, but it is almost as useless as down if this thing gets soaked. So keeping it dry is still just as important. Another thing that I really loved about this jacket is that it's such a good fit. This thing, it's just perfect. I don't really know how I managed to get that right. The medium fits me very well. As I said earlier, I've got an 18-inch torso and I'm 5'7". So if you are of a similar height and a similar build, then you're pretty damn sure that this thing's going to fit you very, very well. The next thing I think, which is probably my favorite thing about this jacket, is the fact that the hood, it just really hugs your face. I just think this is amazing how they've managed to get this like just a perfect kind of fit all the way around, and it doesn't get into your face, it doesn't kind of flap around. It's like a really tight fit around your head, which is really good if it gets windy and you don't want this thing flapping around. And it just keeps your neck and your ears and your forehead, everything warm. It's probably the best hood that I've ever had on any insulating jacket. So nice one, Patagonia. This thing fits like a dream. And take the hood back off now so I can hear you properly. Another thing that I really like about this jacket is the fact that the zipper comes right the way up to the neckline, just above your jaw. If you've got a buff on underneath this, it's going to keep your neck really nice and toasty without needing a scarf. Another thing about this zipper, I mean, the experience that I've had with my Patagonia torrent shell jacket that I had before is the zipper was absolutely horrendous, whereas this one, I've managed to actually find that this thing doesn't get caught. It's really easy to put into the little adjuster at the bottom so that you can zip it up really quickly, really easy and really efficiently without any problems. For a Patagonia jacket, I've heard a lot of people have problems with their zippers just getting caught all the time. This one, very, very good zipper. Another really cool feature about this jacket that I absolutely love is the fact that the baffling is stitched in such a way that it keeps all of the filling, all of that plumer fill, really nice and neat and tidy. It doesn't start bunching up around everywhere. If you hold it up to the light, it's got a really nice even coverage of the plumer fill filling inside, so you don't get any spots where insulation isn't actually keeping you warm, so that's a really good plus as well. Okay, so now we've talked about some of the things that I really loved about this jacket. Let's talk about some of the things that I didn't like so much. Yes, the Patagonia MicroPuff hoodie is, for its warmth to weight ratio, insane, but compared to my £40 trespass down puffy jacket, which I've had for absolutely ages, when that thing was dry, it was insanely warm, like really toasty, to the point where if you were using it while you were walking, you'd be sweating your butt off. This thing, I mean, it's so much lighter and so much thinner, and it packs down really small, and it is fantastic in the moisture, as I've already mentioned probably a few times before, but it's not as warm as a down jacket. I don't think any synthetic jacket is going to be as warm as a down jacket for its weight ratio, but for a synthetic jacket, this thing has actually blown my mind, and I'm very glad that I made the choice that I did. It's just not quite as warm as the down one. But as I said before, if the down one gets slightly moist, it loses its loft anyway, so you're getting a much more consistent amount of warmth out of this jacket. Another thing that I mentioned before, which I don't quite like about this jacket, is that it hasn't got any adjusters around the waist, so you can really cinch in the waist, so you can really try and keep that heat in. They're just kind of free-flowing elasticated bits, which is fine, you know, but just some kind of way to cinch in that waist would have been a good thing to add. Another thing that I'm not too keen on is the fact that this really isn't waterproof at all. They've put some kind of waterproof coating on it, and I mentioned this before, but definitely do not think about wearing this as a waterproof layer of any kind. It just isn't. It is windproof to a degree, and they say that it is windproof on their website, but I mean, the stitching is really good, but it actually does let some air in. So if you're wearing this and it is a windy day, I would highly recommend that you put like a wind jacket or a waterproof breathable shell on top, just to keep the heat in and stop the wind kind of ripping out all of the heat that you've put into the jacket while you've been wearing it. That's basically it on the things that I don't like. Apart from that, I'm very, very pleased. Apart from, yes, the price tag is a bit hefty, but you get what you're paying for. This is a very high quality, very good thermal insulation layer. The Patagonia MicroPuff hoodie is definitely for someone who's expecting to be hiking somewhere where there's a lot of moisture in the air, and they want something that's not going to be losing its loft every 5 minutes, just like down equipment. so this is very good for that. It's going to be for someone who's hiking a lot of miles and they're definitely going to be camping and looking to go as light as possible. They're not going to be hiking somewhere where the temperature is going to be dropping down to the minuses too much. I wouldn't recommend this if it's like in -20 conditions up in the Himalayas somewhere. You're going to want something a bit warmer than that. But for someone who's doing, say, a through hike of the PCT or the Appalachian Trail, definitely the Appalachian Trail, because it's very damp and very wet out there. This is going to see you through the entire thing. Okay, campfire question. Do you own a Patagonia MicroPuff Synthetic hoodie? Let us know in the comments below what you thought of it. Is there another jacket that you think is way better than this for cheaper? We would really love to hear from you down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it, and I'll see you in the next one.